Hey, welcome back to Evil's Comics. This guy right here is Evil Mike, or Mike if you prefer. This is going to be my new comic book day pickups from September 7th, 2022. It was a massive week. I've heard people talk about it wasn't a big week for them, this and that. It was for this guy right here. This is one of those weeks where it did hurt my wallet. You know what I'm saying? No, I mean, it was planned. I knew what was coming. And this is an amazing week for me. Not only did I get everything I wanted on my list, it was in my box waiting. I did get to switch out some of the covers, but every single issue that I wanted was there. Mutiny Comics, that's the comic shop that I've switched to and been going to. They also did the con, I think a couple weeks back. But man, Mutiny Comics has been killing it. Not only that, but he was able to find me some back issues that I missed. But we'll get there. So in a particular order this time, because I picked up so much, it is an order. It looks like I have like a whole stack ready to sell or something like that. The first one I did pick up was Batman Dear Detective from Lee Bergman. It is a one-shot, prestige format. It was $7.99, and unless you just don't have a lot of Lee Bergman art, I would pass on this one. There is a little bit of story, but it's pretty much like all his famous covers all the way through. I thought it was going to be like an actual story. Now, there is some story. I haven't read through it yet, but it's like, I want to say in the whole book, it's probably 7 pages of actual story. The rest of it is just basically some of his most famous, covers from Batman. Which, I mean, for me, it's a win. I love Lee Bergman's art. I know I'm probably saying that wrong. I usually do end up picking up his covers just because he has a more realistic, a very gritty look to Batman, and that's my Batman. So that was one book. Next up we got Sword of Azrael, issue number 2. I am actually caught up. Recently I had found the one-shot, I don't know why it's not zooming in, the one-shot and the first book in the series. I went ahead and read it this past weekend, and I loved both of them. Not only were they done by, I think, the same writer and the same artist, so they kind of tied in together, but they were both wonderful comics and new, points of entry to Azrael. Next up is a book that I reviewed back on Batman Day last year. This is Batman Night Watch number 1. We finally have the release of the comic. I'm pretty sure this is I've reviewed almost until like probably 75% of what they gave us, so I'm interested to see if it's either the same thing or a little more added story. One of the books that my guy did find me, I was missing this. I was missing Dark Crisis issue number 3. And he found the cover that I was looking for too, and I didn't have to pay a whole lot. I paid cover price for it, so I was pretty cool with that. This week we got Dark Crisis 4, so I hadn't been moving forward with the series, with the event, because I was missing that issue. I think I read 2 of the tie-ins from issue 3's release or something like that, but I know I'm behind on a couple issues. But this is issue 4 of Dark Crisis. I went ahead and picked up the homage to, I think it's Final Crisis on Infinite Earths. Next up, another big book for me, Batman 127. I am missing 126. I've purchased like 3 125s. I don't know why. Somehow I am missing 126, so I'm going to have to let my guy know. But he did have something else in my box. I think this came out 2 weeks ago, and it was just he only got so few and they sold out so quickly. But he did end up getting me the facsimile edition of Detective Comics number 27. I think this is, if I'm not mistaken, and it would be pretty bad, but I think this is the very first appearance of, no, I'm not even going to say it because I don't know, I thought it was somebody else. But it was one that I wanted when it dropped, and he just had sold out, so he said he had ordered some more, and sure enough, it was in my box. I was like, oh, hell yeah. And it's a facsimile all the way through, like the old advertisements and stuff like that. So let's do Marvel next, and then I'll break down with all the indies. I had lately, and maybe the past year and a half, I have not had a huge Marvel haul yet, but I still every week check out what they got coming. I have been reading the new Fantastic Four. This is issue number 4. I didn't get a pick on the cover. I didn't care. I am missing issue number 3. Somehow I missed it, so I'm going to have to backtrack. I have read 1 and 2. I just somehow missed 3. I don't know. A variant that I did get to pick out was Ghost Rider issue number 6, and I picked this variant. I think I had 3 different choices, maybe, of the variants, and I went with the more realistic looking, badass looking Ghost Rider. Next up is a book I'm going to give a try on. I'm not really excited about it. I'm not a huge Avenger fan, but it is a number 1. And we got all these characters in movie form pretty much, but this is the All Out Avengers number 1. I think I had like 3 different choices on the covers, and I just went with the regular one. I wasn't a big fan of any of the covers, to be honest. This one's kind of bland in my opinion. But another big series that hit the wall that I didn't know they were doing this with, but this is another number 1. I know it's going to be confusing to people, but this is Marvel Aliens number 1, and it is by Philip Kennedy Johnson again. So I'm assuming this is a whole new story. It's not going to be the 3rd arc, which it would be, but since they titled it number 1, I think it's just going to be a new series, maybe. I don't know. I'll let you know when I get there. But I couldn't pass it up, man. We've had a Predator number 1 recently and another Alien number 1, and honestly, in my opinion, Aliens last year for for 2021 was one of Marvel's better series. Not the best, but one of the better ones. Next up, I got one from Dark Horse. I got a Shock Shop issue number 1. I had a couple different, choices on the covers, and I wasn't too fond of either one of them, and so I just went with this one for the hay. This is kind of one of my, try it, see how it is books. I didn't read the synopsis on it. I just like the name Shock Shop. Kind of reminds me of something of, Tales from the Crypt. So I'm kind of hoping it might be something like that, an anthology book. Next up from Aftershock, I got The Vineyard issue number 2. I was a big fan of that first issue. It took me by surprise, so I'm going to check this one out and see how it goes. A book that I did not think I was going to be able to get, but somehow it was sitting there in pristine format, but that is from Black Caravan, a Scout Comics imprint. This is Blade in the Dark issue number 1. I have very little knowledge on this one. I kind of saw the cover and saw that it was like a Japanese / horror tale, and I was like, oops, sold. And next up, another horror movie. This is a horror book. This is from A Blaze. This is the Boogeyman issue number 1. I went with cover A, and this is kind of what got me into the book. I have not read the synopsis on this one either, but just the cover alone and the title, I was like, yeah, I'll give that one a try. That's right up Evil's alley, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so on to the biggest indie publisher. I don't know if you can call it that, but Image Comics. I got Starhenge. This is book 1, The Dragon and the Boar. This is issue number 3. I think this is the variant cover. I think there was like 2 choices, and I don't know who either one of them are, so I went ahead with this one. I was able to find issue number 2, so I'm all caught up on that series, and I am digging it, although the second issue was a little confusing, so I'm hoping we get a little more explanation. A big shout out to my boy Circumstances. I'll have his link down below. Yo, definitely check out this boy. He's on a meme kick like I've never seen before. But my boy Marcus sent me an AOK maybe a month ago, and he gifted me a signed copy of Twig by Scotty Young, and I think the Kyle Stram. He got both signatures on there. I've been picking up the series as I find it. I found issue number 2 and issue number 3. So today I went ahead and found issue number 4, and I got it for a steal for $1. I end up loving this cover. I've seen a couple different covers, and this is kind of a little more to my liking. But today, Twig issue number 5 did come out. I did have a couple different options on the pickup, so I went with my girl Peach Momoko on Twig issue number 5. So this does complete this series. I do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have not read it yet, and eventually it is one of the books I want to review to honor Marcus for gifting it to me. And I will like to point out, this is the weirdest error I've ever seen. So I don't know if you're gonna make that out, but there's a staple right there. You can kind of, there it is. Okay, well look what the hell they put that staple. Like, what the hell? Like, how does the machine, or, I mean, it's like half an inch into the comic. I don't even know how that's gonna, but I mean, it's not even like the whole comic's stapled. It's really weird. It's the first time I've ever seen that. Next up, sorry about that, but this is issue number 2 from the The Dead Lucky, issue number 2 from Image. I just recently reviewed the first issue, and it kind of caught me by surprise as well. So I'm gonna, continue on and see where it goes. Honestly, I have no idea. I thought it was going in one direction, and by the end of the book, I don't know. But let's get into the biggest one. If you know me, my favorite book is out there. My Girl, Mirka Andolfo. This is the last issue of the series, and we got Sweet Paprika, issue number 12. I went with this copy. I had 4 different variants to pick from. And honestly, I just like the all pink with the white and her horns, the story being done. I have no idea how it's going to end. I'm so excited to read it and sad at the same time because the series is ending. As far as I know, Mirka has not gone forth with any more plans for Sweet Paprika, so as far as I know it, this is the end of the series. But like I mentioned before, my dude at Mutiny Comics, he did hook me up with a couple. He hooked me up with the Dark Crisis. I mean, I had to pay for him, but still. But he found it for me. But he wasn't sure if I had picked up issue number 11 from Sweet Paprika, so he did throw in this variant cover, and I went ahead and picked up that book as well. But that is it. That is my massive haul. It was a big week, an exciting week. There was a lot of books that came out that I'm excited to read. Let me know down below what's your most excited book that came out this week, because there's a lot I did not pick up. There's a lot of big books that I'm just not reading myself. Maybe one day, but just not right now. I'm already reading a crap ton. But hey, that's my pickup. I will review some of these. I've been dropping slowly, but every now and then I'm dropping reviews, especially on the big ones, the number 1, stuff like that. I will definitely review that Batman Detective Comics issue number 27. I'm excited to read that. I have not, even though I'm a huge Batman fan, I do not have a lot of experience in the golden, silver, or even bronze age Batman. I've been reading Batman since I was a kid, but it's still considered modern kind of thing. But hey, that's my pickups. Please like, comment, subscribe. That does feed this guy right over here. It also feeds my ego, you know what I'm saying? No, I'm playing. But I do appreciate all the comments, the engagement. It's one of my favorite things about YouTube. Please let me know anything you want to know. I don't care what you comment. Honestly, the funnier the better. Most of the people know I like to comment pretty funny. I'm playing. But I do appreciate everybody out there that took the time to watch this, and my reviews and everything else I try and put out. I am trying to get back in the community, but it's really my connection here. My reviews and my pickup is a different beast. My lives, it's all my phone, and here in Colorado, maybe it's the rocks, I don't know what it is, mountains, but I'm just not getting the greatest connection. But hey, that's all I got for you. I'm going to let y'all go. You have a great new comic book day. Hopefully you get out there and get all the comics you want to. Let's put our money back in these comic book companies. They need that money too. But hey, I'll let y'all go. Alright, bye.